Let's move. So yeah, guys, welcome back to my channel. Moving with Skinny. Today I'll be moving with Mark Steele, a great man. I'll be asking a few questions and then he'll be answering. And yeah, just enjoy and share. So the first question: who are you? Where are you based? And what do you do?
Okay, so I suppose my background has always been involved with sport. So by profession, I'm a biokineticist, um, but I've probably really sunk my teeth into looking at like elite performance training. So I went and did some courses and some studying over in America, and then always just had an interest in looking at improving the athletic ability of individuals um, across a multitude of sports. So I'd probably say that most of my time has been involved in rugby, but definitely branching off towards soccer, field hockey, athletics, and all those type of sports. Um, so I've been probably lucky in my career that I've been involved with some top teams. So I've been the condition trainer with the Springboks, the junior Springboks, it's under 21s. Won the World Cup there, Tri Nations. And then for 10 years, with the Sharks, where we had a really successful run. And then lately, Skinny, what I've done is I've just really settled on trying to branch out and reach like a sort of magnitude of people. And so that's culminated in me building an online platform where no matter where you are in the world, multitude of different sports, we tap in and we can objectively analyze and monitor you through some amazing technology. So that when you're in the gym, when you're training, when you're playing a match, you can feed this information in, and we can actually start mapping and guiding, individuals, teams on where it is they need to go to just improve.
Okay, and then my first question is what is speed to you? You know, you mentioned a lot of things where you come from, the teams that you've coached or helped, but what is speed to you? Like where you at now? What is speed to you? Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, that's quite a can be quite a complex question, because the way I look at speed, it's like there's actually quite a few different parameters that one needs to train for in order to get that speed. Um, so there's an early stage like strength component that needs to build a foundation for that individual, and that's really largely focused around the hip, the knee, and the ankle complex. So that sort of lower segment of the body, and then developing that strength further into things like power, reactiveness, your stretch shortening cycle, which becomes your plyometric type of effect, and then basically taking that training and putting it into whatever sport that you're involved in. I know that when we were on the phone, we were talking about linear speed as opposed to multi-directional speed, and so something that's something that has to be rehearsed, practiced, and then when you throw the added complexity of bringing in skill, so are you moving multi-directional and having to control a ball, or to assess where it is that you need to be going, making sort of critical decisions at high speeds. That all comes into it. So I look at speed as a long-term development that has to be quite well thought out and planned. And there's different structures that individuals need to train it. Some individuals are good in one area and poor in the other. So there's certain areas that need attention more than others, and it's definitely not something that you can do over the short course of a couple of weeks or a month and think, hey, listen, I've got this. It's something that you've got to keep on plugging away at. Yeah.
And then you also spoke about technology, that you're trying to use different things to actually track people. Like, what is that? Is that like a GPS system? Can everyone use it? And how is it good to athletes? You know, what information do we get from those systems? And yeah, can we see a few things like
Yeah.
what is it? Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So I mean, it's taken me a long time to look at this and to integrate this into our system, into SSP, Specialized Sports Performance. So, in the past, what I've looked at is and used a lot of is GPS, which you would have seen the players wearing in the back of their vests and that, and they get that information. Um, the problem is that it's unaffordable for the regular person, irrespective of whatever sport you play now. So we've actually sort of teamed up with a really great company, Sunto. So and they've made a really simple, very effective um, motion tracking system. So it's not strictly GPS, but it does pretty much exactly what GPS can do. So we get that data in. The biggest thing, Skinny, from our aspect is that, and this is where the value of our platform lies, is that we've made sense of the data. Just numbers coming in ad nauseum for the player, he doesn't understand it. He doesn't have time to understand it. What we do is we take all of that and we make it, put it into a very simple format so that the individual can understand. And I'll give you an example. So we'll say, all right, if you want to be a good number 7 flanker, these are the distances and the intensities and the speeds and the accelerations that you need to achieve. And then so we map the individual on what they are doing in terms and what they need to be doing. And then we look at, okay, how are we going to fill that gap over time? So our technology is fully integrated. I mean, it costs like a hundredth of the price of what your GPS is doing. And the platform is fully integrated in that it actually assists and helps you. And I think that's really where a lot of the value in the system lies.
So it's for all sports.
Yeah. So we've actually gone out and branched and so we've got it. So within our system, we've actually spent a lot of time making it very, very accurate for various age groups and positions. So if you look at, for instance, rugby 15s, we've got 15 different sets of data for each position across 8 or 9 different age groups. So we don't expect a flank to be, getting the same type of, or needing to get the same type of objectives that a scrum off is getting, or a prop to a wing type of thing. And we cover it in a multitude of sports. I think we've gone on to about 6 or 7 sports. So men's soccer, women's soccer, and those are all separate entities. Men's hockey, women's field hockey, basketball, racket sports, sevens rugby, and obviously rugby. So it's very, very detailed to the actual sport, and that's where I think the value in it all lies. It takes us a long time to get that up and going, an individual sport across all those different age groups. But we do that to make sure that we can help the athletes on their journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then talking about this tracking system and GPS, is it a new thing? Is it an old thing, or are we just late in South Africa? Like, how long has it been out there? Or yeah,
that's a good question. So GPS has actually been around for a while. The problem is with it, Skinny, is that the individual, the athlete, they don't understand it because they just get fed like an Excel sheet of numbers, And so if somebody doesn't understand anything, there's no value. So what you kind of see is you see technology and these type of GPS systems that sort of come in and out of fashion in a way. But on the whole, 99.9% of the athletes that use them don't really get to fully integrate with them. They don't understand them. And so therefore it's not really there to help them, although it's their data. It's like, if that's their running data from a match, that's their data. It's not the coaches or the trainers' data, but the individual doesn't understand their numbers. Now, what we've done is that we've fully integrated that so the individual can understand it, and we feedback in a very, very simple format, So our system is a new system in terms of the technology that we're using, and that's what makes it so affordable. So we can go to schools, clubs, and we can literally put the entire rugby or hockey or soccer squad onto our system, um, and it's affordable. It's not like with the GPS you could only really afford to maybe buy 2 or 3 of them. We can supply and fit and equip an entire team.
Before you actually tell us the price, can we actually see it? Can we see the
100%.
technology?
So what we've got, so that's a heart rate out there. So so this has actually got a really good dual functionality to it. So that's a system. There it is there, SSP. So on our app, Skinny, what you can now select whether you're wanting to have it work on heart rate, okay, which we use specifically for the gym. So what we do is on our app, your gym program is sent to you. You wear the system, you start it, you do your gym session, you sync the data, your heart rate comes up, and then what we do is we marry heart rate with the reps, sets, and weights that you put in. So if you're squatting, deadlifting, you'll say, okay, well, I did 4 sets of 8 for the squat, 100 kgs, whatever it is. Once you've saved it, our system automatically calculates the value. And so it takes your heart rate and it takes your load from your gym session, and we give you back a score. We say to you, Skinny, your gym session today was 80% effective. So that means you've actually got a really good score. 80% effective rate on what you're doing. So there's a very important crossover from what you're doing in the gym to what your sports is actually requiring. So we use that in the gym on heart rate mode. Now what we can do is we can switch this over from heart rate mode directly to your running mode, and so we've got compression socks. We've got all types of garters that you wear that just comfortably fits in there. Automatically starts to record once you're training or playing a match, and when you sync that again from our app, very simple, just Bluetooth it and sync it. Again, we take that information, we calculate it, crunch it all in the back end of the platform, and what we do is we provide you with readable data. So we say, right, your training session and your match, you scored so much percentage, and that's based on what are the key parameters for your position. So what distance do you need to cover? What high intensity element do you need to have? Your accelerations, your speed, all of those things come into it, and then we feed that back so that the individual can actually start to understand where it is and where they need to be tracking to improve.
Okay, guys, as you can see, this is it. This is the piece, and yeah. So how much is?
So the whole system, Skinny, that is 1,800 rand.
Okay.
And that's a once-off cost. So once you've got your heart rate monitor and your motion tracker system, you set. You don't have to now cover that cost again. And then what we do is to open a license, we look at 100 rand a month, and that's to keep your license up and running. That's to be able to have that integration, and then also to be able to chat to us at SSP, to help you along the way. So, I guess our big thing at SSP is to look at how we are there to help athletes and to grow the athletes. So, things like gym programs, maybe making sense of some data, wellness, things like that. We constantly feed that all through to athletes as well.
Okay, guys, you heard it. Before I actually give you your 30 seconds of fame, so we've got this thing on the channel where it's just 30 seconds of fame and you can say anything, whatever. So my last question, what's that one thing that you can share with athletes? Like, you've been around the world. I'm sure your passport doesn't have space anymore. But what's that one thing that you would say to us athletes? What's that one thing you'd share with us that stands out for you?
Oh, that's a tough question. So I think looking back at it now, I'd say that one of the big things is don't leave any stone unturned. And I think that's critical. And look, read, understand, um, try and understand more about why you're doing things. So like for instance, it's your body. If somebody says to you, there's a gym program, I want you to do this, this, and this, you are fully within your rights to say, okay, why is it that I'm doing this? And how is this going to benefit me? Because it might not benefit you. And so the more that you can understand about those things and understand about training and how your roadmap is being set out for you, you can then make better informed decisions, rather than just accepting that everything is gospel. And I think that's where athletes need to, your better athletes understand their bodies, and that's very true. But they do that because they've taken such an interest in the body, and they don't want to just be led like blindly like a sheep. They actually want to be a part of the journey. They want to understand, why is it that I'm doing this? Why am I doing that gym program? Why am I doing 4 sets of 8 and not 3 sets of 4? Type of thing. And so and that becomes important. So leave no stone unturned. Ask questions. Understand what it is. Don't just accept it for what it is, because it's an athlete's body. It takes time to grow, and there has to be an element of patience, over that time as well.
Okay, guys, you heard it, and just credits to Java Cafe for allowing us to be here. We can't be at the gym because, once again, Corona. So we need to make use of other spaces. And now, for your 30 seconds of fame.
Anything. So, yeah, what I'd like to say is put it out there is that if you're an athlete, school, club, even looking to aspire to international fame, give us a shot. Come and chat to me at SSP. We'd like to help you with that journey. We fully integrated into sport. We understand sport. We've had a long history in sport, and we fully believe that with the platform and the system, we can help you attain those goals and become a better athlete in whatever sport or code that you're involved in.
And thank you. Cut.